5, 4, 3, 2.
Tier 1 performance.
Welcome back to the Tier 1 podcast, guys. Today's special guest is a former Division I track athlete, current PA student, and Tier 1 performance client, Miss Katie McNulty. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Awesome. So Katie is our first female client and just our first female that's on the Tier 1 podcast. So that's kind of cool. For all you ladies out there that you have any questions about getting started in your workout and fitness realm, Katie is super fit. And she also balances out her school life with her training life. So, Katie, where are you from, first of all?
Yeah, I'm actually from Rhode Island. I'm outside of Providence, like 15 minutes from Cumberland. Grew up with 2 siblings. I have one older sister and one younger brother. We're all a year apart. I grew up in a very active household. We were put into a lot of different sports. So I grew up playing like tennis, ran, and yeah, a bunch of like soccer.
So when did you start realizing that like your calling was track and field? Or like, did you start realizing at a young age that you were just better at that particular sport? Or
So I actually didn't really know until high school that I would run for college. I actually grew up doing tennis. That was my big thing, like for sport. And I played at the high school level for 2 years. And then I got into track thinking that it would help me train for tennis. And I ended up really loving the sport. And my junior year, I decided to quit tennis and then pursue track. So
that's
ended up
awesome.
working out, yeah.
So what were some of your best events? Like, what did you excel in?
For track?
For track.
So in college, I ran the 800. That was my main event. I also ran the 1,000, 1,500, down to the 400. So it was like a big mid-distance range. And then I also ran cross country too.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So taking a step backwards, like the recruiting process as far as becoming a Division I athlete, University of Rhode Island, did they reach out to you or how did you get seen? What was the scouting process like?
I actually didn't get scouted for. I emailed colleges and pursued a walk-on position. Luckily, URI, I reached out to them asking if I was able to walk on their team or try out, and luckily my times were good enough that they let me walk on their team. It was huge. I really wanted to pursue D1 sports, so that's at that time in high school. I was in a walk-on position. I wasn't scholarship eligible, really.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And like track and field in particular, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. It's pretty black and white as far as like, if your times are this, and it's an individual sport for the most part, right? I mean, you basically, you compete as a team, but at the end of the day, like it's an individual thing, right?
Yeah. So when you're getting recruited, it's pretty much your time that's it. There's no basing it off of skill really or anything, but so it was challenging.
and growing up, at least throughout high school, were you weight training or like were you eating clean? I mean, what were some of the things that you were doing on your own that was getting you better at your sports?
In high school, before college, I've always grown up in a household where we were really clean eaters. My mom, she's an excellent cook. She cooked very clean diet, like Mediterranean kind of.
She's Italian.
Yeah, Italian. Great Italian cook. But so luckily I grew up where I was, had a good base for good nutrition. And then when I got into college and running became more serious and, I was more conscious of my diet and, figuring out what were healthy choices and what weren't, given the freedom of like picking whatever foods. But yeah, luckily I had that good base that helped me like guide my decisions and getting food. Yeah.
So up north, how is the food different than that of the South? I mean, because we're in Texas, and people in the Northeast, do they typically eat cleaner overall? I mean,
Yeah.
what's the diet like? Is it more Mediterranean and fish based?
Yeah, the North is known for seafood and Italian food. Yeah.
Yes.
But down here, it's a lot different.
Would you say that was one of the most important factors in your athletic career was starting like eating clean at a young age and just kind of like growing up with that kind of background?
I think that helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, diet's what you eat obviously is a good portion of, how you perform and is really helpful. I think growing up more, and it was just, being active, kind of for me doing different sports. I feel like that helps a lot build like athleticism. And yeah, we're like my family, my sister and my brother and me were just all really active and really motivated to, get better in whatever sport we did.
So would you encourage doing as many sports as you can to build that athleticism and those motor skills and other ways before sticking to one? And like, when would you suggest is the right time to like stick to one sport? I
found it was beneficial. Like I said, my whole family, we did multiple sports, and really like once we got into high school, that's when we started zoning in on the sport. But I did find that those, doing previous multiple sports really helped build athleticism. But yeah, I think high school, when, especially if, you're trying to get recruited, like you want to really work on, one specific sport and, zone in on that.
For sure. And to fast forward, like in college, how was it? Like, did you have a tough time managing being a student athlete at first, or did you kind of like, you went to private school, right, in high school?
Yeah.
So did that prepare you for what you faced academically in college?
Yes and no. So my high school experience, I guess, was different from a lot of people. We had a very challenging curriculum in high school. It was, very competitive in terms of like where people went to college and whatnot. So when I initially got to college, this was before my season though, because I didn't do cross country until my junior year.
Right.
My sophomore year. But I actually had a really great GPA my first semester. And then the second semester when we started competing, it tanked.
Oh yeah.
Because I didn't know really time management, and I was prioritizing sports over my academics for that first freshman year of spring semester when I was competing in track. So it was a bumpy road during that time, and luckily I managed, figured out how to manage my time with track and still focus on school, and ended up, doing really well. So,
and that's coming from a genius. I mean, us peasants, we struggled much more heavily in school, but especially at the collegiate level. But she found a way to kind of get back on her feet really quickly, it sounds like. So did you use academic advisors, or did you utilize, how much time did you dedicate to studying per week while you were in college? Luckily the athletics at University of Rhode Island, that's where I attended school, was they had academic advisors for the athletes. So we would utilize the academic advisors mostly through them because they understood the time management difficulties between sports and academics. And they would, help us out, like, because we would have to miss classes and whatnot for, a track event or whatever, and they would help us like work through that. But yeah. For sure. And so upon graduating college, like when did you know that you wanted to pursue physician's assistant school?
I kind of like going into undergrad, I knew I wanted to do something medical. I didn't really know what. I was honestly more focused on just doing track and being really good at that. But, I really started, like, I would say probably my senior year of college, which is really late. I was like, wow, I want to be a physician assistant. And that's when I realized like I need to get more serious about it in terms, because it's a long process, and getting you have to get patient care hours, you have to have good GPA. There's a lot that goes into it, but probably like my junior year, senior year is when I got really serious about considering that.
Right, because I mean, at Tier 1 Performance, we're big on like life beyond your sport, because everyone's career comes to an end, whether it's at 18. For you, it was like 22.
Yeah.
And for Jordan and I, it was probably right around 22, 23 years old. And some people, like the ones who make it even at the professional realm, like their careers usually will end by their mid-30s, late 30s. So it's like, hey, there's life beyond your sport, and that's kind of what identifies you for most of your life. You identify as an athlete, So was it tough for you to transition post-athletic career?
Yeah, I'd say so. My end of athletic career was not as glamorous as most people, because we had COVID that ended. Yeah, so I sorry. So yeah, we had to end very abruptly and during COVID, and I did the 5th year, because usually you have 4 years of eligibility, but I redshirted my senior year, and then so my 5th year, I was just training to get back into competing, and I had a very short amount of time where I was competing, and then it ended. So that was a really hard adjustment, because a week before I was competing and anticipating a spring season, and then out of nowhere I was just like, wow, I'm done. And the transition was hard, only because I'm motivated through like competition, competing. Like I like, that's really what got me interested in track, and like really any sport. I just like to compete with other people, and it was hard for me to find motivation just going to like a gym and just keeping in shape. I'm like a very goal oriented person, so that was definitely a challenge for sure.
No, I speak from experience of working with her as her coach, is that we set goals and she accomplishes them like that. I mean, she hits it hard. And I mean, like, we appreciate that, you know what I mean, from our end, because it makes our life easy and we get the feedback necessary from you. Now, you've dealt with your fair share of adversity later on in college. You had some tendon tears, correct? And then you had the COVID year.
Yeah. So my senior year, I went through a weird bout of ankle pain that lasted for like 6+ months. It was, very frustrating, because I didn't know. And I redshirted anticipating it would get better for the following year, and still didn't really know what it was until like the end of that senior year, and ended up being, a supernumerary muscle tendon that was tearing my other tendons. It was a really weird situation.
It's like a vulnerable injury. It's like the story of Achilles.
Yeah.
You have that one little area, and it just, it goes haywire. So after you got over the injury, you got over your 5th year, you competed, you then transitioned into, what did you have to get done in order to qualify for PA school at post graduation?
So to get into PA school, it's a combination of, GPA, patient care experience, shadowing, and then like, letter of recommendation, stuff like that. So post undergraduate studies, I focused really on getting my patient care experience, working as an EMT and ER tech. And unfortunately, I didn't get many shadowing hours though, because of COVID, but it ended up working out. Yeah.
Yes. And we were happy that she made the move to Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was huge. But then...
Hey everyone, Jordan here, to tell you about getting your own personalized weightlifting and nutrition plan. Here at TOP, we detail your prescription plan to meet your own personal goals with crystal clear explanations and examples. You'll also have routine follow-ups and direct access to me and Mitch for any questions you may have along the way. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now at our website, www.tier1performance.org.
All right, guys, welcome back. So we're talking about how you were, the application process of PA school, and how many schools you applied to, and how did you end up being in Boston?
So the application process took about a year.
Okay.
It's a really long process, and I applied to about 12 schools. Yeah, a lot of schools,
Dang.
but I know. Just kind of everywhere. I applied to schools in Texas, the Northeast, since I'm from up there. So like New York, Boston, Rhode Island, and then some other random schools like Florida. But I just wanted to get in wherever I could, probably.
But you got your EMT experience in Houston, right?
Yeah.
Okay, for a year and a half? How long
Yeah,
was it?
I worked as an EMT for about a year and a half, and then I was an ER tech for roughly 9 months. Yeah.
So you've seen some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not going to go back to that life.
No. Not planning anytime soon.
Okay. So to those viewers out there, you just finished your first full year, your first 2 semesters at PA school.
Yes. Yeah.
Meanwhile, you were still training pretty heavily, but you were eating really clean.
Yeah.
So could you dive into, being a tier 1 performance client, how many days a week were you training, and like what time of the day were you training at?
I had a pretty full class schedule. So depending on the day, it would be from like 8 a.m. to 3. I would be gone, and then I would have schoolwork after. So I got into a routine where I'd wake up for 6 a.m. when my gym opened and work out for about an hour and a half and just get ready for the day. And so that was about like 4 times a week. I'd do lifting, and then on my upper body days, cardio, and then on the other days I'd do some type of like active recovery, whether that's running or walking or some type of cardio.
And do you believe in eating something before your workout? Because like 6 a.m. that's early to a lot of people, and I've heard some people tell me that they don't like eating before their weight training workouts. I mean, what's your take on that?
I was that type of person. Yeah. Okay. I used to not like eating that early. But now I do like banana and almond butter, and I found definitely a big improvement in my energy levels during my workouts in the morning. So I'm a firm believer now that you should eat before a workout. I feel a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, it just helps having those extra carbs to kind of get you through that workout. Yeah. And what kind of cardio do you prefer to do post weight training?
Personally, I do Stairmaster. I'm not necessarily a fan of it, but I feel like I'm not good at it, so I want to get better at it. So that's why I do it. But we
force her to do Stairmaster.
I really like incline walking though, but for me personally, it just doesn't get my heart rate up to like how I want it to get. So it takes a lot for me to get my heart rate up on the incline walks. So
do you feel like you burn more calories on the Stairmaster too?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
and
challenging.
Katie's shredded, for those who didn't know. She's like 16% body fat, abs, bicep veins. So, she's built like a specimen. But does it take, but like you said, you only train 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't have to train 6 or 7 days a week? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I know, shocking.
Okay, so with that being said, I mean, what's your diet like? I mean, I'm sure I work with it, so I know what it is. Yeah. But to our viewers, what do you eat on a daily basis? And like, how do you change it up on days that you have, exams to study for, maybe like rest days versus training days? How do you mix up your diet?
Yeah. Well, so I follow the Molded by Mitch Tier 1 Performance meal plan. But basically, so we do breakfast, lunch, 4 small meals, I would say, and it works. It helps a lot for me to have it in smaller portions. But yeah, I'll do like the banana and almond butter, and then mid-morning snack, which is like a protein shake with some type of fruit and nuts, and then like late lunch, whatever, it will be like ground turkey, rice, like broccoli, and then dinner like some type of like fish or with rice and like salad. But yeah, it works really well for me. I like to meal prep my food at the beginning of the week, so I can just grab and go, especially with my busy schedule. It helps a lot when I can just go into the fridge and grab it and just microwave it at school. But
absolutely, yeah.
I'm a firm believer of still, like not getting crazy with cheat meals, but definitely like once a week, having something that just so you're not like constantly on overdrive with clean eating. You mix in some like, a meal that you really enjoy, and that just helps you really keep on track.
That's good to know, because like a lot of our female viewers out there, they're probably like wanting to know, do they have to restrict themselves from like that occasional glass of wine, or like if they want a burger and fries, or if they're craving a pizza or something. So you suggest that you need to indulge in that at least once or twice a week.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm still like I eat a very specific diet to get to a specific weight and body fat percentage, but I'm also still a firm believer of like intuitively eating. If you're really like craving with like a piece of chocolate or like a glass of wine, it's not going to throw off your whole progress.
Right.
It just go back to how you were eating, like clean eating again, and it'll be fine.
Just you gotta, when you fall off the horse, you just gotta get back in the saddle, right?
Exactly.
I mean, so we're big on not like making you feel guilty at Tier 1 Performance, right? About like, hey, not everyone's trying to prepare for a bodybuilding show.
Exactly.
And we acknowledge that, and we encourage you to have a social life, do like indulge in particular foods or maybe like drinks that, hey, you know what, every once in a while. But do you do that on like training days? Like, is your thing, like if you have a cheat meal, do you make sure that it falls on a day that you're active?
I like to.
Right.
I feel like it's, because depending on my active recovery days, I don't feel like I'm probably, have room for calories like as much. So, I feel like it's better for me at least on my training days to get a cheat meal in. But that's just personal preference, I guess.
Right, and I'm under the same belief system too. Like, I definitely agree with that, because I think some people like they like to indulge in a lot of like bad food. Or, I don't want to say bad foods, but foods that they enjoy.
Yeah.
On a day that they are not training or not active at all, so they're just kind of sitting around in a surplus all day.
Yeah.
Where they could gain like 2.5, 3 pounds in that one day if you're not careful, right?
Yeah, and a lot of cheat meals. I mean, well, the ones I like, they'll be like up towards like, some of them like 1,200 calories for one meal, and that's a lot like for one meal. So it's just for me, it's like I'd rather just do it on a day that I'm training. But
and you don't turn it into a whole day. You just make sure that it's a meal, right?
No.
Okay.
It's just one meal. Yeah.
Cool. So yes, to all you viewers out there, please indulge in your cheat meal. Please indulge in your ice cream, your cake, whatever it may be. But just get back in the saddle the next day. Take care of business.
Exactly.
It's not going to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And so how many more semesters left of PA school do you have?
So I just finished up my first year. We have like a 4-month summer break, which is nice. So get some time off. And then I'll have 2 more semesters of our didactic year, we call it. So that's like, the in-classroom work. And then I'll start my rotations for a year. So I still have like 2 more years to go, pretty much.
Right. And you might be going to Florida, right?
Yeah, me, who knows? Our program, they send us to like different locations across the United States, just wherever. We'll never have to find our rotations, which is nice, but it could be wherever. Hopefully Houston, but
that'd be nice.
Yeah,
that'd be nice. So you want to eventually be back in Houston?
Okay. Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah. We want you to come back.
Yeah,
it's too cold up north.
Yeah,
I've been up there.
It is.
Yeah, it's too cold. So what would you find like in your friend circle, right? Not everyone's going to eat clean. Not everyone's going to have the same lifestyle as you, right?
Yeah.
How do you not give in to that temptation to like, I don't know, like, do you find it hard hanging out with your friends to live your healthy lifestyle, like training right, eating right, etc.?
Yeah, it can be hard because I feel like a lot of people don't fully understand, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and staying on track, especially when, your friends ask you to go out to eat and stuff. It's really hard to find, foods that fit inside your macros for, when you go out to eat. But, I'll either, I'll still go out, maybe, find a healthier option for what to eat, or I'll, eat beforehand, but still join them. Like, I still like to, go out with them, have fun, enjoy life. And, not get too worked up over my meal plans either, but still try to keep on track.
Exactly. So there's ways around it. Like, I mean, I do the same thing. Like if I go out with buddies and they're like, hey, we're going out to this restaurant, I eat beforehand. When I get to the restaurant, I'll either order a salad or sip on water or whatever. I mean, like, as long as you're with a group that's eating that restaurant's food, they're not going to just kick you out. Yeah. Most restaurants won't.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I mean, and so let's take a brief break, and we're going to resume, and we're going to kind of get into the more nitty gritty about the Tier 1 performance aspect of things.
Okay.
Hey everyone, Jordan here, with a message to all baseball players. Do you want to learn the most effective path to better your skills? Do you have ambition to be a 5-tool player? Come see Mitch and I down at D-Bat Humble for some private lessons to improve your game. For more info, go to our website or to dbathumble.com.
So Katie, we've been working with your diet at Tier 1 Performance since January?
Yeah.
Or was it before that?
January.
Officially January, right?
Officially, yeah.
And you had the goal of a certain weight, and you set some. How important is goal setting for you, and hitting those goals? Being a former athlete, and just in general for most of our viewers out there,
it's really important to me. Like I said, I'm a goal oriented person. Even in college, I'd write up like my times like in track that I wanted to hit and just put them on the wall and like looked at it every single day and was like, I'm gonna hit that time. Like, so doing this, it's nice to have a goal that I'm working towards, and I'm looking forward to hitting those goals that I set.
Absolutely. And the way we have your diet, your meal program set up is that you're eating 4 small meals a day, right? Yeah. And do you find that you have more energy throughout the day because your body can only absorb so much of the food that you're eating? Yeah,
at first it was a big adjustment for me. I feel like I was so used to eating kind of whenever I felt hungry. Mm-hmm. And then I would eat like 3 big meals a day. But so at first eating the 4 small meals a day kind of felt like a little weird. Felt very hungry a lot. But then I think once my body adjusted, I actually felt like higher energy levels. I felt, like my performance in the weight room was getting a lot better. And now I don't even really like notice it. So, like how at first, like how I felt hungry, like now it feels good. Yeah.
And like, I like to preach to people, especially when it comes to nutrition, to break the stigma of most women thinking that less meals equals less weight, right? Like, if they want to lose weight, women tell me, hey, I only need to eat 2 meals. No. Do you find that false?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I still I know a lot of women believe that they need to eat less calories, less food, and that's just not the case. Because ultimately you're depriving your body of nutrients, essential nutrients that you need to function
for your cognitive health and also just your physical health.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah. Because the more muscle you put on, ultimately the more efficient you're going to be at burning fat.
Yeah, you build like a faster metabolism and
right. Yeah. And so the more protein you're intaking, the more muscle you're gaining, right? Yeah. And so do you eat every 3 hours, roughly?
I would say
every 3 hours?
Roughly. Yeah, okay. I wake up pretty early in the morning, so I would say like I eat at 6 and then like 9:30 and then 1:30 and then like 6 and then I'll have like a little something before bed, but like
right.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say like every 3 hours.
And how much water do you drink a day?
Depending on the day, I try to get a gallon in at least. I used to be a horrible water drinker, bad water intake, but I really did notice once I started drinking more water and being more diligent about that, I felt once again higher energy, just felt better in the weight room, just seeing my performance improve. So I try to be really diligent about my water intake.
I'm big on that. Yeah. For several reasons, obviously, like your digestion, also your body just being made up of over 70% water.
Yeah, I know.
It's probably smart to, drink water.
I know. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, no doubt. And does it affect your energy levels too? Like by drinking more water, do you feel like you have more energy?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel less sluggish throughout the day.
Not just coming from me.
Yeah. I can vouch for that, especially because I used to have horrible water intake, but now I'm a lot better.
She's not a paid actor. She's yeah. So to dive into your particular nutrition program through Tier 1 Performance, we give you several options a day, right?
Yes.
So, and for you in particular, being a former athlete, do you like the weights given out on your meals? And can you kind of tell our viewers, how we kind of provide that information to you, and how you were able to adjust to it?
Yeah, so when I get, an email for the program that they sent and edit, it's laid out in like was it an Excel sheet where there's different options. You provide specific ounces and or grams for each food group, and the 4 small meals a day. For me, I'm a little more, I guess, educated on the matter, so I kind of can, if you give like 7 ounces ground turkey, I can kind of, if I wanted to switch up which food, I kind of understand like what ounces I need for, like, let's just say ground like beef or salmon or something.
Right.
But it's very specific throughout the day, the food count. Yeah.
Because what we found at first is that, like, I felt like we were being too detailed with the programs initially. Like, we were breaking out so many things, but ultimately, did you feel that just us giving you the weights and the foods of when to eat it and what time of the day and how often, did that work out better for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that a lot of, not everyone is a former athlete. Not everybody has the same goals as you. So we obviously tailor make the programs towards whatever goals you have. If that's to hop on stage and compete, that's one thing. If it's just to eat clean for the first time and just get in shape because you want to like look better and feel better and perform better at work, we obviously offer that service too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So obviously, and what are your particular goals as far as, not only physique wise, but do you ever plan on hopping on stage one day and competing in like wellness or fitness division or anything like that?
Yeah, I've thought about it. Right now, I guess with PA school, I don't have any specific long-term goals. I have a goal of hitting, a specific weight and specific body fat percentage, and just overall being like eating cleaner and feeling better, like in the weight room and in general. Once I'm done with PA school, I could see myself potentially doing wellness or some type of, bodybuilding show.
You would crush it. I mean, definitely. Her physique is phenomenal. And so I guess, and you're young. I mean, how old are you?
25.
25 years old. And so that, in the grand scheme of things, and for competitors, that's really young. And obviously it's good to kind of get your career set up underneath you before you start. Yeah. So for you, that's important to kind of get your career set before pursuing any kind of competition.
Yeah, especially it'll pick up PA school now. So definitely want to be able to have the time to really focus on, if I am going to do wellness or whatever, really focus on taking the time to get really conditioned and ready to go on stage.
To have that base and foundation, that's kind of what we preach here at Tier 1 Performance for all those interested in competing at the bodybuilding stage or whatever it might be. We recommend that you have to start with a firm foundation of eating clean, training hard, maintaining that low body fat percentage, not dirty bulking, and obviously being financially stable before pursuing that, I think, is very important.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't realize how expensive it was either, and it is pricey. Yeah.
Girl, I went broke for my first show. Yeah. No, it really is, and I think that's important. I think that's really cool.
Definitely.
And you're super competitive, and you're very goal incentivized. What do you recommend for people who weren't necessarily brought up in a competitive atmosphere, or maybe were not an athlete growing up? I mean, like, what advice would you give to them as to why they should eat clean and why they should train?
I think, I don't think personally you have to have been active or anything to want to get into fitness and eating clean. But I think overall it's just, longevity and life and feeling better on a day-to-day basis, having higher energy levels, and, it'll pay off later in life too, in general, just being fit and active and eating clean. You'll have less, chances of any comorbidities when you're older. And it's just, I think it's something that everyone should want to do. It's just, they don't have to be competitive or have specific competitive goals or anything, but I think everyone should be, exercising, eating for the most part clean, and yeah. So.
And what effect does it have on your mental health? Because you seem like a very happy person.
Yeah.
And do you think that it's really affected you mentally? Like, does it help you? Like,
yeah. I found when I first started PA school, I think was still adjusting to like the schedule. I wasn't eating great. Was still working out, but I found myself kind of like really tired, a lot of brain fog, kind of just having problems focusing. And when eating cleaner, like your mood's lifted, especially keeping to a routine. I feel like I feel more like have more clarity in terms of like, my studies. I feel like I can work really efficiently. And yeah, I think overall it's extremely beneficial for especially like working out on your mental health.
right, because I've been a firm believer in like training and eating clean goes far beyond the physical state.
Yeah.
It more so is for your mental state, if anything. I mean, like, I think some of the most successful people in the world, they train on a day-to-day basis. And nothing against therapy. I think that has its time and place, and that's very beneficial. But I would suggest getting outdoors and eating clean and training if you're not in a good mental state, because that's a great place to start.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, just getting out and moving, honestly. Like, doesn't need to be anything like what I'm doing or what you're doing. Just, I feel like just getting up and moving and doing, having a routine is really good for anyone.
The human body is meant to move.
Yeah.
And I think, having heavier access to technology, I think a lot of people today, guys and gals, they're consumed by their technology and they're not moving enough. And therefore they're having trouble sleeping. Maybe they're having trouble with mental clarity.
Yeah.
Do you think that could be a cause of that?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I hate like staring at a screen, which I have to do like all day long basically. But I definitely don't think like phones and stuff like that are really helping either. It's definitely probably contributing to that.
It makes me dizzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me really dizzy. I don't know where I am sometimes. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's read a book, or let's go run.
Yeah.
Let's lift some weights.
Yeah.
Katie, thank you so much. This was awesome.
Yeah.
And I think this was a wealth of knowledge for our viewers, especially our females out there that are trying to balance out their lives. Let's do this again sometime very soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you for joining in. Have a great one.
Thank you.
2